Chapter 1. It started with a soft pop. I was halfway home from Kay's house after our weekly bridge night. The roads were quiet. A few porch lights were still on. The bakery on Maple was dark but smelled like sugar anyway. The radio was low. Something old, something gentle. Then the car jerked. The dashboard dimmed. I pulled over and turned on my hazards. The clock said 10:47. I sat a moment and thought. Chapter 2. I tried the key again. Only a click, not a cough, not a sputter. I keep a flashlight in my glove box. It is heavy and old and honest. I popped the hood and climbed out. The beam washed over hoses and metal I do not know. I hoped a helpful person would see the light and slow down. Cars passed, none stopped. I zipped my coat. I checked my phone. 1 bar. Then, no signal. Chapter 3. Tires crunched on gravel behind me. A white pickup rolled to a stop. New model. Too clean for work, too quiet for a neighbor. The driver cut the engine. The headlights stayed on. They lit the back of my car like a stage. A man stepped out. Late 30s, a reflective vest with no logo. "Car trouble?" he called. His voice was calm in a practiced way. Chapter 4. "I can take a look," he said. "Used to be a mechanic." He walked toward the hood. I kept the flashlight low. He leaned in. I listened for metal sounds. I heard none. No ratchet, no clamp, no tool, just the hood and his breath. "Loose cable," he said. "Easy fix." He dropped the hood. "Try it now." I sat, turned the key, and the engine caught. The dash lights did not return. "Weird," I said. He watched my face too long. Chapter 5. "Lucky I was nearby," he said. He stepped closer to the window. I did not shift out of park. "I can follow you home," he offered, "just in case." My fingers found the small whistle on a chain around my neck. It is silly. It is also loud. "No need," I said. "I live close." He smiled. It did not reach his eyes. "Let me explain the fix," he said. My hand found the door lock. Click. "I think I'm good." Chapter 6. He straightened. Not angry, just tight. "Suit yourself," he said. He returned to his truck. I watched his boots. Too clean, too still. I reversed and pulled away. In my mirror, his lights went dark. He did not follow. Still, I did not go home. I turned right instead. Officer Brenner lives on Birch. He is retired. He still keeps a scanner on. His porch light was on. I parked and knocked. Chapter 7. Brenner opened the door in an old sweatshirt. His hair was a soft gray wave. "Mabel?" he said. "You okay?" I nodded and stepped inside. He did not push for speed. He listened while I told the story. He only asked small questions. "Plate number?" I shook my head. "Color of the vest?" "Gray." He nodded. "Let's check the cameras." He pulled up his doorbell feed on a tablet. We rewound and watched. Nothing yet, but he made a note anyway. Chapter 8. "Report it," he said. "Even if nothing happened. These things stack up." He poured me instant coffee. It was bad and warm and perfect. "Next time, call," he added. "Even if it feels small." I nodded. It had felt small and big at the same time. He printed a little card for me. It had the non-emergency number. It had his number too. I slid it behind my license. The night air felt like glass when I left. I drove home slow. Every taillight made me jump. But I made it. Chapter 9. Morning made the problem smaller. Not gone, just smaller. I called my bank. A young woman answered. "This is Trina," she said. Her voice was steady. I told her about the man and the almost help. She listened without hurrying. "Let's put an alert on your account," she said, "in case he stood close to scan your card." I had not thought of that. She set up two-step for everything. She offered to send my new card to the post office. Smart girl, good head. Chapter 10. I wrote rules on a sticky note. I keep it near the phone. 1. Call back on the number I already have. 2. Keep the chain on the door. 3. Ask for a name and a badge. 4. Write it down. Breathe. I made tea. I sat by the window. The street was quiet. Leaves moved like shy hands. I felt silly for being scared. Then I remembered, silly is cheaper than sorry. I kept the note. Chapter 11. At noon, my neighbor Lena knocked. She held soup and gossip. She heard about my night from Kay. I told the story again. Lena has a serious face when danger walks by. "No cones?" she asked. "No vest logo?" "No and no," I said. She nodded. "That means no." She stuck my sticky note on the fridge. She added a line with her pen. 6. Tell Lena. "I like this rule," she said. I laughed. Chapter 12. In the afternoon, I drove to Roy's garage. Roy has fixed my car for 20 years. He knows its moods. He tested the battery. He checked the cables. He showed me a small scratch where a clamp had been nudged. He raised one eyebrow. "Someone touched this," he said, not unkind. He tightened the cable. He added a fresh strap. "Call me next time," he said. "I fix, strangers don't." I promised I would. I bought donuts for his crew. Chapter 13. When I came home, the mail had a plain envelope. No return address. Inside was a flyer. "Secure bank kit," it said. "Verify your card at home." A small device was printed on the page. It looked like a toy. A QR code winked in the corner. "Scan here," it said. I did not. I called Trina instead. I read it to her. She thanked me and asked for a photo. "We're seeing these," she said. "Please throw it away." I used the shredder. Chapter 14. At 4, my son called. "Mom," Kay told me, he said, "are you okay?" I was. He asked if I wanted him to drive over. I said no. He has a long drive and 2 kids who fight the car seat. "But thank you," I said. He was quiet. He does that when he wishes he could fix life with a screwdriver. "Call me anyway," he said, "even just to say you're fine." "I will," I promised. Then we talked about the kids' school picture day. That helped. Chapter 15. The next night, the doorbell rang at 9. 3 quick taps. I slid the chain across and opened to a safe width. A young man stood on my porch. He held a small box and a card reader. "Ma'am," he said, "security package from your bank. €1 to activate." His vest had a logo. It did not match the box. His badge had a name. It did not match his eyes. "Which bank?" I asked. He said the right one. I wrote it down anyway. Chapter 16. Set the box on the mat, I said. Step back. He did. The box sounded hollow. "What's in it?" I asked. "A reader," he said, "for your chip." "Which chip?" I asked. He did not answer fast. "Your safety chip," he said. I smiled. "I'll call the bank," I said. "I only pay inside buildings with chairs." He shifted from foot to foot. The rain began. He picked up the box. "I'll come back," he said. "I won't," I said. I closed the door. Chapter 17. I called the non-emergency number from Brenner's card. The dispatcher had a calm voice. I told her what I saw. I told her what I wrote. She thanked me. "We have reports tonight," she said. "Please stay inside." I stayed by the window. Lena stood in her kitchen with her light on. We waved like we do when we pass tomatoes over the fence. A white pickup slid down the street. It did not stop. The porch light made a small circle on my steps. It felt like a badge I gave to myself. Chapter 18. The next morning I visited the bank branch. The plant in the corner looked tired and dignified. Trina met me at the desk. She was smaller than her voice. She shook my hand like a real person. We went over my accounts. No strange charges. She put a note on my file. "Voice password," she said. "Say this phrase when you call." The phrase was mine to choose. I picked kind and calm. She smiled. "That fits," she said. Chapter 19. On my way home, I stopped at the hardware store. The young clerk, Finn, showed me a better chain for my door. He installed it right there at the counter so I could see how it worked. "Long screws," he said. "Bite into the stud. That's the trick." He also sold me 2 solar lights for my path. "Small, steady," he said. "They make people behave." I liked that. I took them home like pets. Chapter 20. That afternoon, a new number called me. "Fraud team," a man said. He used my name and my old street from years ago. He knew my bank. "We detected risk," he said. "Read me the code on your screen." A text arrived. He waited. "I will call you back," I said, "on the number on my card." "No need," he said fast. "Always need," I said. I hung up and called Trina. The code was fake. The voice was too. She thanked me again. Chapter 21. The boys came by after school, not mine by blood. Lena's nephews. They are 16 and hungry all the time. They call me Aunt Mabel. They saw the solar lights in the box. "We'll install them," they said. They dug neat holes and told me about school. The teacher who is kind, the class that is hard. They asked about the whistle on my chain. I told them the story. They nodded with serious eyes. "We'll walk you to bridge next time," they said. Good boys. Chapter 22. A white pickup drove by slow while the boys worked. It had a crooked Bolt logo on the door. The driver did not look at us. He looked at the curb and the sky and the idea of speed. I wrote down the time. The boys noticed my pad. "You take notes?" one asked. "I do," I said. "It makes my hands less jumpy." They liked that. They asked for a page. They wrote license plate guesses. Their guesses were wrong and useful at the same time. Chapter 23. I baked a small cake. I took half to Brenner. We sat on his porch with plates in our laps. He told me about a scam he saw back in the day. "They always rush you," he said. "If you slow down, the trick falls off." I told him my rule: write first, breathe next, decide last. He smiled. "Put that on a card," he said. "Carry 2. He looked at my car. "Roy fix it?" I nodded. "Then you're fine," he said. "You did fine too." Chapter 24. The next night the phone rang again. "This is fraud prevention," a woman said. "We need to secure your account." She sounded like a teacher who knows your name and wants your lunch money. "Great," I said. "I will call you back." "No, we will call you," she said. "Then goodbye," I said. I hung up. I called the real bank. Trina laughed, not at me, but with me. "You are my favorite call," she said. "You always make the right move." I wrote her name on a thank you card. Chapter 25. Saturday came with early rain. The boys and I cleaned my shed. We found 3 paint cans and a ladder I thought I lost. We made a pile for the dump. We made a pile for maybe later. We wrote a list of rules together. 1. We never share codes. 2. We call official numbers ourselves. 3. No one pays money on a porch. We ask for help before we make dumb plans. 5. We tell the truth even when it is heavy. We hung the list on my fridge with a tomato magnet. Chapter 26. Lena planned a small meeting at the community hall. She made flyers with a simple headline: "Slow down, check, call back." People brought cookies and questions. Brenner brought cones and a vest so we could see the difference between real gear and party costumes. I told my story from start to now. I kept the language simple. I paused often. We practiced what to say at a door. We practiced how to hang up. We laughed. We learned. It felt like a kind school. Chapter 27. A week later, the van with the crooked bolt came back. Lena saw it from her kitchen and texted me. We stayed inside and watched. The young man from my porch tried 2 houses and left. A real patrol car turned the corner. It did not flash lights. It simply existed in the street like a good rule. The van rolled away without drama. "We will see it again," Lena said, "but it will have a harder time." I wrote that down. Chapter 28. The bank held a Saturday session. Trina invited me to speak. I placed 3 signs on the table: door, pone, screen. Under door, I put a chain, a peephole photo, and a list. Under pone, I placed a card with numbers I trust. Under screen, I showed the fake app flyer and a photo of the QR code I did not scan. We walked through each one. People asked real questions. Trina answered with plain words. The coffee was bad and free, perfect. Chapter 29. On Sunday, the boys set up a camera in my kitchen. They wanted to make a short video about scams. "Only if we tell the whole truth," I said. "Even the dumb parts, especially those," they said. We filmed. I spoke in short lines. They added big captions. "Call back on your own number. No codes ever. Rules live on the fridge." They edited fast. They posted. Their friends shared it. A girl left a comment. "I showed this to my grandma." I cried a little. Then I made more tea. Chapter 30. 2 streets over, a neighbor got a gas leak knock. He almost opened. He called me instead. I told him to call the gas company on the number on his bill. He did. They had no leaks on record. Real techs came in the morning with cones and tape and proper jackets. They checked the line and left a paper that said, "All clear." The neighbor brought me a pie to thank me. "You saved me money," he said. "You saved me from a story," I said. We ate pie with coffee anyway. Chapter 31. One evening I heard a scooter slow by my house. It idled, then it moved on. I could have been afraid. I wasn't. I turned on the porch light. I checked the chain. I set my blue mug on the counter. I wrote the time. I wrote. Nothing happened. Writing that felt good. Not every page needs a storm. Some pages get to be a sky with no news. Chapter 32. There was a hearing at the courthouse. A few young men stood in a row. The boy who brought the empty box to my door was there. He looked smaller indoors. His mother sat behind him. Her hands were folded so tight her knuckles went white. The judge spoke like a metronome, measured, even. "Restitution," she said. "Community service," she said. I did not speak. I listened. The boy said, "Sorry," and looked at his mother. It sounded like effort. It mattered. Chapter 33. After court, Brenner and I stood on the steps. Rain held back. We watched the street. We did not need to say much. "You did fine," he said. "So did you," I said. "We all did," he said. He meant the neighbors, the banker, the boys with the magnet sign, the woman at the hall who asked the brave question. I thought about how safety is a group project. I wanted to tell the whole town thank you. I baked instead. Chapter 34. That week, I wrote a letter to my future self. I dated it. I folded it. I put it in the back of my notebook. It said, "If a voice says, 'Now,' answer, 'Later.' If a knock says, 'Urgent,' answer, 'Name and badge, vest and cones.' If a screen says, 'Click,' answer, 'Call first.' If shame tries to hurry you, let it sit. If fear shouts, make tea. If help comes, ask it to wait on the porch while you breathe. If the night is quiet, enjoy the quiet." I sealed the letter with tape. Chapter 35. Kay asked me to tell the story at bridge. So I did. I kept it short. I kept it clear. They asked good questions. Would you have blown the whistle? Yes. Would you have driven off if he followed? To Brenner's. Would you call your son? Yes, after the bank. We laughed. We shuffled the cards. We played. I did not win. I did not need to. I drove home the long way and waved at the bakery anyway. Chapter 36. The next month brought soft rain and long evenings. I kept the path lights clean. I wiped the porch lens with my sleeve. The chain clicked in its new slot like a suit that fits. I kept the card with numbers in my wallet. I kept the list on the fridge. I kept the boys' video on my phone so I could show it to people in the produce aisle. I kept tea in the tin. I kept calm on purpose. Calm can be a habit. I let it be mine. Chapter 37. One night I saw the white pickup again. It passed without slowing. My heart did a quiet step. Then it settled. I remembered my rule. I wrote the time and the weather and nothing else. I watched the truck turn at the light. I watched the porch light paint a warm circle. I turned off the radio and listened to the house breathe. Peace can be loud if you let it fill the room. Chapter 38. Trina called to check on me. "No charges," she said. "Your alerts worked." I thanked her. I asked for her manager's email so I could send praise. People report trouble. They should report help too. I wrote her a careful note. I told her how Trina spoke like a sturdy bridge. I told her the branch felt safe. I mailed it. It made me feel like a citizen again, not just a customer. Chapter 39. The boys came by with a second-hand microphone. They said it was for me. "Why?" I asked. "So you can record your list," they said. "People like your voice." We sat at my table. I read the rules into their phone. I read like I speak, slow and sure. They added music that sounded like a small river. We uploaded it to their channel. The comments were kind. One said, "My grandpa never listens to me, but he listened to you." I cried again. I am getting good at that. Chapter 40. A real utility crew came to our block. They wore vests that matched their truck. They had cones. They had tape. They knocked like people who know their work and still ask permission. "Ma'am, we're checking meters," one said. His badge matched his jacket and his truck and his words. "Of course," I said. I opened the door as far as the chain allowed. Then I lifted it. He smiled at the chain like it was an old friend. I liked him at once. Chapter 41. We held a second whole night. More people came. The same cookies came, but they tasted better because the fear was lower. We made little cards that said, "Write first, breathe next, decide last." We put them in a bowl. People took them like mints. Brenna showed a new trick for reading plates at night. Lena explained how to say no with a warm face. The room felt like a quilt. Many hands, one purpose. The lights hummed in that good, boring way. Chapter 42. Another call came. "We need remote access to your phone," a man said, "so we can remove malware." "No, you don't," I said. "I will take my phone to the store tomorrow where chairs exist." He tried to scare me. "You will lose your money," he said. "I will lose this call," I said, and hung up. I put my phone on the counter and made a sandwich. Hunger makes fear loud. Sandwiches turn fear down. Chapter 43. The boys dragged me into one more project. "We want to make flyers," they said, "with your rules." We printed them at the library. We asked the librarian where we could put them. "Community board," she said, "and the senior center and the bus stop." We walked the route. We used tape that does not peel paint. We worked until our feet said, "Stop." Then we ate cheap slices at the corner shop. It tasted like teamwork and tomato. Chapter 44. I got a letter from the court. The boy who brought the box finished his service. He swept the park. He cleaned the rec center. He apologized to 3 people face to face. He wrote me a letter too. It was plain. It was brave. "I tried to be someone I am not," he wrote. "Your no helped me stop," I wrote back. "Keep stopping," I said. "Keep working. You are allowed to be good." I folded the letters together and kept them with the folder without names. Chapter 45. Lena and I took a slow walk at dusk. The air smelled like rain that changed its mind. We passed the bakery. We passed the hall. We waved at the branch. We saw the boys at the park with rakes and jokes. We sat on a bench and watched the lights come on one by one. "Look," Lena said, "the block is brighter than last fall." "It is," I said. We did that. We did not mean only us. We meant all of us. Chapter 46. It was late when we got back. My car sat quiet and dutiful under the street light. I patted the hood. "Good girl," I said. The porch light clicked on because I had set a timer. That made me proud. Past Mabel had thought of present Mabel and done her a favor. The path lights made small moons on the stones. The chain felt smooth in my hand. Everything did what it should. That is a big gift. Chapter 47. I wrote one more note and stuck it inside the cupboard where I keep the tea. It said, "Be kind, stay calm. Write it down, verify with your own numbers. Ask a neighbor, call the bank, call the police, then make tea." I read it out loud. It sounded like a song, a simple one, a song a child could learn, a song I hope the whole street knows by winter. Chapter 48. Weeks later, rain returned like a friend who knows not to knock. I stood at the window and watched it bead on the glass. The phone stayed quiet. The house breathed. Somewhere, a scooter chose another street. I turned off the lamp. I let the porch light keep watch. I washed my blue mug and set it to dry. I wrote the time. I closed the notebook. I went to bed with my keys on the nightstand and my rules in my head. I slept well. I earned it. Chapter 49. A month passed. The trees turned. The air thinned. I drove home from Kay's again, a little earlier this time. The roads were dry. I took the same long way. The radio was quiet. At the corner by the pharmacy, a white pickup idled. The same style, the same clean. It did not move when the light turned green. I kept both hands on the wheel. I turned left toward a street with more porches and more dogs. People help when dogs bark. The truck did not follow. I wrote the time when I got home. I slept fine. Chapter 50. In the morning, I found a small sticker on my mailbox. It had a QR code and the words, Home Safety Update. I did not scan it. I took a photo. I texted it to Brenner and to Trina. Brenner said he would pass it along. Trina said the same. I peeled it off with a butter knife. The glue fought back. Glue always does. I used warm water and patience. It came off. I washed my hands and laughed at myself. Some victories are sticky. Chapter 51. Lena's nephews asked for a lesson in phone stuff. They wanted to teach their friends how to hang up on pressure. We sat at my table with my blue mug. We practiced lines like a play. I will call you back on the number I already have. I do not share codes. You can wait if you are real. They took turns being the scammer. They tried scary voices and friendly ones. We laughed a lot. Then we stopped laughing and said the lines for real. They sounded strong. Chapter 52. My son came by with the kids. They ran on the lawn and turned into small hurricanes. I held the baby while he fixed a loose hinge on the back gate. I think about that night, he said. I wish I had been there. You were, I said, in my pocket, on that little card. He smiled. He read the list on my fridge. He took a photo. I'll put it on ours, he said. I kissed the baby's hair. It smelled like milk and new sleep. Chapter 53. Another letter came from the court. The case was larger than my street. It reached into 3 towns. It listed tools they used, fake vests, empty boxes, cloned phone numbers. It was boring to read, and that made me happy. Boring is safe. Drama is expensive. I filed the letter in the folder with names. I made tea. I watered the plant on the sill. The sun moved across the table in a slow stripe. The day was ordinary. I wrote that down. Ordinary is gold. Chapter 54. Brenner asked me to visit the high school. He wanted me to speak to a small group. It was not a big crowd. It was 10 kids and a teacher with kind eyes. I told them about the whistle. I told them about the chain. I told them about the word no. I told them about calling back on your own number. One boy raised his hand. What if it is your friend asking, he said. Then you meet your friend at a table, I said, with chairs, and you look at their face. He wrote that down. Chapter 55. A storm rolled in one weekend. The power flickered, then held. I lit a candle anyway. I put the kettle on before the bad part. The phone rang during the wind. We are from the utility, a voice said. We need to reset your meter from our side. Please press 1. I did not press 1. I pressed end. I called the real utility number from my bill. They were busy and slow. Slow is the speed of honest work in storms. The recorded map said our block was fine. I blew out the candle and laughed at myself again. Chapter 56. Trina invited me to join a little panel at the branch. A locksmith came. A young tech from the phone store came. Brenner came. We each said one rule. The locksmith said, use long screws. The tech said, update your phone and your apps. Brenner said, write plate numbers, not stories. I said, make tea before you decide. People smiled. People took notes. People asked where to buy chains and whistles and cones. We gave them a simple list. We sent them home with small cards. Chapter 57. The boys made a second video. They titled it, Slow Beats Fast. They filmed me writing on sticky notes and taping them to rooms. Pone, numbers I trust. Door, chain, screen, think first. They filmed their own hands pressing decline on fake calls. They showed how to hold your phone away from your body during a strange call as if the voice could not lean in that far. It was silly and helpful at once. Their friends laughed. Their friends shared. Laughing can be a doorway to listening. Chapter 58. Kay had a flat tire outside the pharmacy. She called me. I called Roy. He sent a kid named Matt with a jack and a smile. He changed the tire in 10 minutes. He kept both hands visible and his voice in first gear. Kay tipped him and called him a hero. He blushed. She told me later, I felt brave because I had a name to call. That is why we keep lists. Lists turn fear into a phone tree. Chapter 59. A woman knocked one afternoon with a clipboard and a big friendly grin. She said she was checking smoke detectors for free. Name and badge? I asked. She showed me a badge. It looked printed yesterday by a home printer that needed ink. I will call the fire department, I said. If they sent you, I will open the door. The grin dimmed. She backed away. No problem, she said. There was no clipboard anymore. I watched her cross the street and vanish. I called anyway. They thanked me. They said others had called too. Chapter 60. I added 2 more lines to the list in my cupboard. 7. If a stranger says free, ask what it costs later. 8. If a stranger says, I am in a hurry, choose to be slow. I copied the whole thing again in big letters. I taped it inside my front door where I hang my keys. Sometimes I read it like a prayer before I go out. It keeps my hands from forgetting what my head knows. Chapter 61. A call came from a number that looked like my bank's number. The screen said the right name. The voice said the right phrase. It even had hold music that sounded like money waiting. I did not trust it. Numbers wear costumes now. I hung up. I called back on the number on my card. Trina picked up. Spoofed, she said. Good catch. I always call you, I said. I know, she said. It is the nicest habit. Chapter 62. We held a porch night. Just us. No hall. No stage. Neighbors brought lawn chairs and blankets. We passed a single flashlight and told small stories. I almost clicked. I almost paid. I almost opened. Then each person told the line they used instead. I called back. I wrote it down. I read the name twice. We clapped after each small win. The stars were out. The porch light hummed. The street felt like a living room. Chapter 63. My son called late. Work is heavy, he said. I wish I had your calm. You do, I said. You just keep it in the garage sometimes. He laughed in the old way. He told me he put my list near his own front door. The kids read it like a chant, he said. They think the T line is funny. It is funny, I said, and true. We said goodnight the way good families do, with no speeches and lots of warmth. Chapter 64. The last time I saw the white pickup, it was on a trailer behind a tow truck. The crooked bolt logo was half peeled away. The hood was up. The tires were tired. I watched from my window. I felt the kind of relief that arrives without applause. Not joy, not triumph, just a soft yes. I turned off the lamp. I let the porch light keep watch. I wrote the time. I closed the notebook. I slept like a person who knew her rules and kept them. Chapter 65. 2 days later, my grandson Noah called. He is sweet and smart and sometimes careless. Grandma, he said, I'm helping you sign up for a new security thing. It's easy. You'll get a text. Read me the numbers. His voice was bright, too bright. I felt my face warm and then cool. Noah, I said, I love you. I do not share codes, not with anyone, not even with you. He went quiet. It's safe, he said. It's for you. Then we will do it in person, I said, at a table with chairs and your face. Chapter 66. He sighed. Then he told the truth in pieces. A friend had told him about a bonus for helping families sign up for a new app. The bonus was real, the app was not. He had already signed up his other grandma. He felt sick about it now. I breathed slow so he could hear it. Tell me everything, I said. He did. I wrote names and links and dates. I asked him to bring me his phone tomorrow. I asked him to bring his friend. He said he would try. I said I would make pancakes either way. Chapter 67. Noah came the next morning with his friend Theo. They looked like boys and men at the same time. I put the skillet on the stove. We ate first. Sugar helps truth come out. Then we sat at the table. We opened the app store and the settings. We found the fake app and the permissions it had taken. We deleted it. We changed passwords. We called the other grandma and told her what we were doing. She cried. She laughed. She promised to make soup later. I wrote down the steps so the boys could repeat them at home. Chapter 68. We called Trina on speaker. We told her about the bonus plan. She had already seen it. She asked Noah and Theo to send screenshots. She thanked them. She did not scold. She spoke to them like colleagues. You can help, she said. You can report fake links fast. You can tell your friends. It matters. I watched the boys sit up straighter. Young backs like to be needed. We made a list for them to post. Do not share codes. Do not install from links. Find the app yourself. Call the bank yourself. Meet in daylight. Chapter 69. Noah swept my porch while Theo cleaned the sink just because. They took down the old wind chime that had lost its voice and hung a new one. It sounded like a shy bell. We walked to Brenner's so the boys could shake his hand. He told them they were not bad. He told them they had done a bad thing and then a better thing. They nodded. They understood. He gave them a card with the non-emergency number. Call before you guess, he said. They put the cards in their wallets like tickets to a game. Chapter 70. That night, we streamed from my kitchen again. The boys ran the camera. I read a new list. 10 sentences you can say, even if you are scared. 1. I will call you back on the number I already have. 2. I do not share codes. 3. Please wait while I ask a neighbor. 4. Name and badge, vest and cones. 5. I am writing this down. 6. Slow is safe. Urgency is your problem, not mine. We will do this in person. 9. I cannot talk while I am boiling water. 10. No. The chat filled with little hearts and big thanks. Chapter 71. After the stream, Noah hugged me in that careful way boys learn when they get taller than their grandma. I'm sorry, he said. I hugged him back. I know, I said. You fixed it the right way. He laughed and cried at the same time. You always make tea when you win, he said. I make tea when I lose too, I said. Tea is for the middle. Theo asked if he could take a photo with the list. Yes, I said. Take 2. He did. Chapter 72. A week later, the town posted a small note online. Scam ring disrupted, arrests made, Community tips helped. It was short. It did not name us. It did not need to. I cut the note from the paper and taped it inside my notebook. I wrote the date. I wrote one more line. The porch light is small. The porch light is enough. I closed the book. I turned on the light. I slept like a person who had turned fear into a list, and a list into a habit, and a habit into a quiet street.